Now, everyone knows that 1980s pop culture is so influential till today. Think about how many artists now are using pretty much the same music as back in the 80s. In 2002, GTA Vice City came, which is pretty much inspired by the whole atmosphere of Miami from the 1980s. And of course, it's very influential for movies. So today I'm going to talk about my favorite movies of 1980. I'm going to start with The Shining. Now, I have never read the book, but the movie is just brilliant. I just love how much tension it builds throughout the entire time. And of course, the performances help so much with the whole tension and everything. And once like you get towards the end of the movie and everything pretty much reveals itself, it just makes the movie so good, and you're pretty much on the edge of the seat throughout the entire time. Like the intensity pretty much just changes. Another one is going to be Blade Runner. Now, I don't like what Ridley Scott has been doing recently, but what he's done with that movie and just this whole atmosphere and this whole universe that he built in Blade Runner, I think is just ridiculous. And it pretty much just put the start to the whole genre of cyberpunk. Before that, yes, it existed in books and all that, but just to see this visually, it was just on our level. This whole idea of humans and replicants and AI and all that, it exists right now too. In the real world and also in the cyberpunk genre. This movie was way ahead of its time, and I just love it. It's so good. I don't like it as much as its sequel. I think Blade Runner 2049 is way better, but this one put the start to it, and of course it's still a great movie. Of course, I have to mention the dialogue at the end because I think this pretty much explains the whole movie and the future in just one simple monologue. It's so good. I have to talk about Die Hard because this movie, I think it's one of the greatest action movies of all time. And it definitely put the start into so many movies that came after it that are pretty much trying to use that formula from Die Hard, and it works. We all know that 70s had great movies about the Vietnam War, but so does the 80s with movies like Platoon, which is ridiculous, and it's pretty much based on like true experience, true war experience, and same with Full Metal Jacket, which it's also kind of based on war experience, but it's also very artistic in a way. It's kind of like a little bit more pretentious, but I have to say it's a really good movie. Also, The Terminator, I think it's a really good movie. It's a really good action flick. Not as good as the second one, of course. We all know that Terminator 2 Judgment Day is probably the best. It's the best Terminator movie. Like everything else is kind of like stupid. And of course, I have to talk about some Scorsese films. Raging Bull is so good, and this movie, it's of course it's about boxing and everything, but it's so much more. It's so dramatic. It's something that I love about this movie. It feels in a way, yeah, it's about boxing, whatever, but that's not the focus of it. The focus is the drama, and it I just love it. It kind of, in a way, it feels more like theater than a movie, and it really kind of like puts you in this whole 30s atmosphere. I fucking love this movie, and of course, Nero does a great job again. But we know that we've seen that before with Taxi Driver and The Godfather, but here he's done something that nobody I think has ever done before, and pretty much just changed the shape of his body. Like he is in shape as a boxer, and then years later he just becomes fat. And I don't know, man. Like just to put your health through all this shit for a movie, I I don't know. I fucking love this movie. After Hours, another brilliant movie, very intense. I think this is like when pretty much Scorsese tried something new, and it worked. And I think he applied this to his other movies and just pretty much just did everything much more intense than before. Because some of his movies before are kind of a slow burn and very focused on the story, but this is, I think he found a way to tell more story with the intensity, and I think After Hours does that brilliantly. And of course, After Hours, it's a very weird movie, but I love that about it. Then we go to The King of Comedy, another Scorsese film. It's so good, man. I love this movie because again, it just Also, the movie itself built so much tension, and the main character is doing so many crazy fucking things. Like it's just insane. And I kind of like the whole idea of a guy doing everything just so he can reach his dream. And I'm not gonna spoil anything because I think people need to watch it. Not many people, surprisingly, have seen that movie, but it's so good and really is something that can actually teach you a moral of why do all of this crazy shit just to pretty much just to reach your goal. Batman 1989, this just started something that's insane. Now, when Michael Keaton was cast in this movie, people reacted kind of harsh to it because he was pretty much a comedic actor before that. So they were like, "What the fuck are you doing casting this guy as Batman?" And yep, we see how that went. He is one of the most iconic actors to portray the character. I also like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I think he found the rhythm of the film and he did a perfect job with that character. And of course, I have to talk about probably the most influential movie of the 80s, which is going to be Scarface. Now, what Scarface did and still does till today is on another level, right? Like, if you don't have a Scarface poster behind you, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Now, besides the great acting and action and all that in this movie, storytelling, this movie tells a perfect story of a gangster. Yes, some things we all know that they're kind of like over the top, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining, it's dramatic, and everything. Dialogue is brilliant, and we see the saga of Tony Montana, which makes this movie so fucking special. And of course, I have to mention some horror films because the 1980s are very much experimental with them. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Teen Wolf, Friday the 13th, Fog, Evil Dead, The Thing, The Fly. And the 1980s are huge for TV, sitcoms, and TV shows. So here's just a few: Married with Children, Star Trek, Alf, Miami Vice, Transformers, Knight Rider, The Simpsons, Baywatch, Cheers, 21 Jump Street, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Seinfeld, Tales from the Crypt. But yeah, tell me your favorite movie of the 1980s, and I'll see you on the next one.